Well, after over 2 years, could even be 3, I'm losing the will to live sometimes with this, but after over 2 years of struggling with Polaris and Indian motorcycle and the issues I've had, I might have actually had a breakthrough. Stay tuned. So, I might actually be finally getting somewhere, but hey, I'll explain a bit more. Hi, my name's Stuart Quinn, and this is part 12, believe it or not, of my love of Indian motorcycles, which is a bit of a pun really. Yeah, I love the brand, I really do. I don't love the service, and I certainly not impressed at all with Polaris, especially Polaris Britain Limited. But there you go. Right. Obviously, if you've been following this, you'll know what it's all about. But for those that haven't, I'll briefly update you. I've been having issues with the service on my Indian Roadmaster Darkhorse. I bought it brand new, so I expected to not have many issues. Brand new in March 2020. First issue October 21. Then I continue to have issues through 2022, which were never resolved and still aren't to date. I thought it was all surrounding the lack of service on the brake calipers. I even had information off Polaris technicians in America who were of the same opinion, but obviously they'd never seen the motorcycle. And they could only comment to a certain degree because they were still employed by Polaris, and I actually did find out one of them was told not to talk to me after a period of time, so they couldn't confirm the information they gave me. So as you know, I've pursued this myself with Polaris Britain Limited. I tried with the dealer originally, but he's no good. They won't communicate, they don't put anything in writing, they don't provide you with the necessary paperwork for warranty work or service, or basically anything really other than an invoice to tell you the extortionate prices you're having to pay. It went through an original complaint with the dealer. They didn't want to acknowledge anything other than some nasty words on the telephone. I brought it up with Polaris Britain, who immediately took the opinion that it was all my fault for riding my motorcycle all year round, as it's not suited for the countries in the UK, according to them. So they basically missold me the motorcycle. So then I escalated it to Polaris Inc., who acknowledged me, said they will look into it, didn't bother. So then I started to look around, see what I should be doing, taking some legal advice, which led me to Close Brothers, who are the company that financed the motorcycle. Now, I reported it to them in 2023. They gave me the impression there was not a lot they could do, so I had to follow this up myself. I since found out they were not quite truthful with what they told me. They only told me part of what I needed to know, which wasn't surprising. They gave me the impression that I only had 6 months, the first 6 months in which to lodge a complaint. Now obviously the issue started after the first 6 months, and the main part of the issue is poor service and damage by the dealer, which is covered. Now again, what should have happened, Close Brothers should have asked me to submit evidence to them that they could look into, and then they would contact the dealership, etc., on my behalf. They did not do that. They just said, we can't deal with Polaris, haven't got a working relationship with them, so we can't help you. But at the same time, I've read the letter that they gave me in 23, which is they class as a deadlock letter. They did state within that letter that if I wasn't successful with dealing with Polaris, they would look into it. I then went back to them in 24. Now the reason there's such a big gap is I had seizures in August, and the cause of these seizures were this situation of nobody wanting to help me. I spent a lot of money on a high-end motorcycle, brand new, and I used the main dealer to do all the work. So I feel completely let down, really let down. I mean, I spent over £11,000 in 3 years through that main dealer to keep it in pristine condition. I've had no written information to me that I have done anything wrong. I had everything repaired on the motorcycle or any service issue sorted by this main dealer, and then subsequently some of it I found he's charged me for stuff he hasn't even done. And this was apparent in letters I got from UK Tech at Polaris Britain Limited, who state there's photos and reports from the dealer to them to prove that I've misused the motorcycle, which would have been great if they shared with me, but they never have, because they don't exist. I've even applied through subject access requests to get this information. As it doesn't exist, they're hiding behind red tape and not providing it. So, as I said, this has been requested to the dealer as well, who has now not complied to the subject access request. So it has been escalated, and that will be dealt with. It's not a quick fix. The legal system in this country is not the best when it comes to your consumer rights. They like to think it is. We even have an industry body, the MCIA. Yeah, that's another story. I think I did a quick video on the MCIA, but I did write to them again, because in their last correspondence to me, they said, please try and sort this out with Polaris again, Polaris Britain. Now, I read into that they'd spoken to them and advised Polaris to talk to me. So I wrote to Polaris, they will not reply to me. So I wrote to the MCIA again and said, I read into your letter that you stated that I contact Polaris again, and they have not. So I decided to look a little bit closer into the MCIA and their code of conduct. Now, bearing in mind they are the industry body for motorcycles, and Polaris Britain are a member of the MCIA, you sort of think, yeah, if I have an issue, they may be able to help. So their industry code of practice is basically called buy with confidence. And I think I briefly went through this last time. But they are supposed to hold their members up to a standard. They state they care about their own reputation. They say it's important to help provide you with the best possible experience and pre and post sales. And these standards have been developed to offer you, the customer, peace of mind in the knowledge that in the unlikely event there are any problems, they will be taken seriously and dealt with quickly and fairly. Now, I think, as I said to you, I went into this MCI process through the ADR, which they deal with the company, the NCS. This went on for over a year because of my illness. but also contacting them wasn't the easiest. So that they stated that the MCIA is satisfied that the code of practice is sufficiently comprehensive that the manufacturing members will stand by their obligations, enabling you to buy their product with complete confidence. Absolute bollocks. I mean, at the end of the day, they've done nothing. Absolutely nothing. They've got a company or an organisation, Polaris Britain, that know the issues I've had, which do affect the running performance of the motorcycle, i.e. the brakes. They're quite a very important issue. Now, I said at the start, I found out something new. I'll come to that at the end. Polaris are not bothered that one of their appointed dealers, actually two of their appointed dealers, have made errors on the brake system of a high-end motorcycle, touring motorcycle, which is not a light piece of equipment, and the effect on these errors mean the cause of possible injury and even death. So if that's not part of their code of practice to give you peace of mind and let you know they are stand by their obligations, they're not bothered if their dealership can't fix brakes or charge you for servicing the brake system and don't even touch it. They're happy for that. So Polaris Britain were happy, and now MCIA, who was supposed to be holding them to a standard, are happy that they not bothered if your brakes fail. So yeah, great. Thank you, MCIA. I'll leave that one there. There will be more videos to come on Close Brothers, because I think they're finally doing the investigation they should have done in 2023. That's what they're giving me the impression of. But I just feel they're going to sit on it for the standard 8 weeks, send me another deadlock letter, and do nothing. I've offered them all the evidence they require, which clear as day shows that the dealership didn't do the basic work that they charged for. They don't supply the required paperwork, and yeah, I can see myself heading in the same direction. Financial ombudsman will look at it and they will say, oh, well, yeah, finance company's done nothing wrong because they're not experienced enough to know what they're doing. But I did say there was something new. I have found something new. So I put a call out, or put a post out on my Facebook in respect of trying to find Polaris mechanics or technicians that were either current, who would talk to me, or were previously employed by Polaris. So I've had a couple reach out to me, and yeah, it's quite interesting. I wished I was able to record one of them, because it opened my eyes a little bit more as to what's happened to my motorcycle. So basically I gave them a brief outline of the issues I've had. He then asked me very specific questions. Now obviously I know there was an issue around my calipers, around the brake system of the motorcycle, and its performance. So he asked me how long my pads were lasting, and I said I think every time it went in for a service or in between, they were changing the pads. So the pads were lasting 4,000 to 5,000 miles. He said that's wrong, they should be lasting 12 plus, especially on the rear, because he asked me specifically, do I use engine braking? So yeah, I said yeah, I do. I don't, I'm not heavy on the rear brake unless I need to be, in case someone pulls out in front of you, etc. I don't race. As I said before, I go in sport rarely, and yeah, it's a touring motorcycle for two up, me and my wife. He then asked me how long my tyres were lasting. Now this was an issue I'd brought up before, because I said they were lasting me, if I was lucky, 5,000 miles. So he then said, nah, that's wrong. They should be lasting a lot more, twice if not three times that distance, unless you live somewhere, say Florida, straight roads, but they're got a very bad canvas because they do have severe rainfall, so their tires would tend to wear completely on the right, be on the left hand side because they ride on the right. I said our roads weren't that bad. We had a mixture of twisties, and a lot of our riding would be down motorways when we were away. So yeah, no wheel spinning, never smoked the back wheel ever in my life, which some might say is a bit sad, but there you go. So yeah, he flagged that up as an issue as well. So then when we discussed about this brake disc going blue, that happened on the 25,000 service, he then said clearly to me, well, that's your rear axle out of line. He said your belt tension and your rear axle, that's the only thing that can cause that. He said your brake disc is running out of true, so you're going through your pads. Being out of line would wear your tyres unevenly, and you'd be going through tyres more regularly. So it really backed up that there was a brake issue. Now, obviously, I thought it was full on with the calipers, but he's saying no, it's the actual alignment of the rear axle, which is quite an interesting fact because I've got a close friend who had the same situation after they serviced it for him for a long trip. He had to then go to a dealer in France who basically turned around and said, well, yeah, your rear axle's out of line. And that was a few days after they checked that motorcycle over specifically for a long distance ride. So they have history with that area of the motorcycle. So I was right in respect of I had a brake issue, but that was more down to the dealership not actually servicing the brakes at all. And then the wear and the damage is due to this issue of the misalignment of the rear axle, which is more than likely what they did in on the 25,000 service. They managed to actually get that right, because after the 25,000 service I didn't have the issue again. I did get some drag on the brakes, and I had to have an independent garage to sort it out for me, so then that was fine after then. So I never had the issues I had from April 22 to August 22 again. So misaligned axle. So let's see what we do with that one. So that's the update. Just waiting on Close Brothers to get back to me to see if they do their job this time. I've still got the financial ombudsman in the background. I've got the ICO waiting Thor Motorcycles to send their paperwork back, which obviously they won't. I've also got some more legal issues going to be brought up with Polaris Britain, because they will not uphold the warranty. They will not communicate with me as a owner. So yeah, they're not complying to their obligations either. But I don't know who's going to uphold them to it, because the industry body don't care. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. But I just want to underline the fact that the motorcycle I love, Polaris not so much, and the service we get is well below what we deserve for a high-end motorcycle. And one of the main issues for that is Polaris Inc. will not endorse independent service dealers. Harley Davidson do. They have them. They can do warranty work. So not only do you have twice as many Harley Davidson dealerships, say in America, they also have service dealers that will look after your motorcycles, even warranty work. So Indian do not endorse that in America or in the UK. Well, the whole of Europe. They do not endorse it, which is a major issue because that removes the choice from the riders. And I imagine that's part of the decision making for people that look into it in a deeper way than I did. I should have looked into it more, but I thought by buying a brand new motorcycle and using the main dealer, I wouldn't have the nightmare situation that put me in hospital. But anyway, thank you, Polaris. Hopefully you'll be listening to some of what people say and want to make a change for it, especially with Harley Davidson giving you this opportunity now they've gone woke, or not, depending on what video you watch. Anyway,